Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Manhood. Does wonderful videos. Dating's not going to be the same next year. In 2024, so many men this year alone has seen Red Pill, has seen MGTOW, has seen Passport Bros, and are just tired. Men are leaving dating apps. Men are leaving the U.S. This is where everything is headed. Let's see how women deal with it. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
I hate this generation. I live in the era of Netflix and chill that counts as a date. And some people referring to dating someone as talking. I live in an era where courting seems to be extinct. And I live in an era of not wanting a title, but still wanting relationship benefits.
You can kiss her, you can hug her, you can tell her that you love her, but your bitch ain't your bitch, bro.
Dating is just brutal for most guys. I think the best time to date would have been maybe late 90s, early 2000s, when you still had to physically meet people in person. If you thought a girl was cute at a bar, you had to go up and speak to her. But let's say you went to Barcelona one year and you had a nice little few-week fling with a girl, and you come back a few years later, you still have her email, you can communicate, and you can still get in touch or call her. I think now, with the way the world is, it's brutal.
It's cold out there, bro.
That's a good world.
It's cold out.
In the olden days, someone gets your number, calls you up, and you arrange to meet.
Yep.
You go to a movie, have dinner, enjoy the night, and go home. Then he calls again.
I really miss the dinner and movies days when I was younger, when in my 20s, going out. I took my ex-wife to the movies all the time. We went to the movies almost every week. And dinner was $20? The movies were $10, a $30 date, It was pretty simple, pretty nice. Nowadays, it's just dinner. It's usually just dinner for most of the time. Just because I don't usually plan out a whole night anymore. Just because I don't want to probably spend that much time with a woman that I might not enjoy. Back in those days, you were kind of just forced to, you know what? I already planned the dinner and the movies, so we'll see how it goes. We're more willing to tough it out in a sense. Where nowadays, even me, I don't enjoy this person. Pfft, dinner's done. We're out.
It wouldn't have occurred to any woman back then that she would also see other guys, exclusivity, and that she should sleep with him straight away.
Yes, it's true.
But if she did make out or slept with him, he'd still want to see her the next day.
Also true.
Sometimes it didn't work out, but those women enjoyed the dates, at least I think, because it was just fun to go out and spend a night with someone, learn about them and talk and laugh.
I do agree, even though sometimes, this might not be a person that I enjoy or, not enjoy, but would want to see myself with in the future. Doesn't mean that we can't have a good time together, at least for the date. And I agree, it's not so much like that nowadays. When I'm on dates, I'm not really there to have a good time in a sense. I'm there to vet someone. That's more my thought process than having a good time if I'm with someone. So it's probably not the best way to go about it.
Now, dates are less likely because ghosting is rampant, and most women probably cancel before the day.
This is
or
true.
lately, for me anyway, have no plans, so men end up making plans and booking for them.
Yep.
And then men sort of lose interest because they think, why bother asking a woman out that's not putting any effort into it? It just feels very cold nowadays. No laughter, mystery or fun. I'm not someone who texts a lot, so I do like meeting people to get a feel for them.
Same. I'm a shitty texter. I'm a shitty typer. I make typos all the time. And I'm one of those texters that texts you one sentence at a time and then spams you with 5 times with 5 different sentences instead of putting it all in one, just because I have a bad habit of doing that. So I would prefer to talk in person, talk over the phone and things like that. That's just why when I use dating apps, I try to schedule the date immediately within the next few days, within that week. And then I usually kind of just stop talking to them and just like, oh, talk a lot less. I'm like, you know what? I want to get to know you at the date. I don't really want to be chit-chatting over text too often.
Sense that today, it's not okay to meet, and texting for weeks to months is the norm before meeting.
No dice. Maybe a few days for me. If they want to text for longer than that and don't want to meet, I just cancel it. It's not worth the time.
Men have been trying to be patient and accept that for a long time, but honestly, I don't know how people sustain texting for weeks and months.
It's
I'm
awkward.
sure that's so enough, a lot of men will say. Fuck it. In 2024. The chances of a relationship developing seem much slimmer. You can get dates and hit on people, but the odds they are dating and sleeping with multiple people and not focused on one encounter is much higher. It's easier to get
It is the norm for men and women. Yes, women are able to exercise it more, but plenty of men that are able to exercise it do it the same way.
laid fast, but the long-term potential is shot to shit. The odds of heartbreak when you're starting to like someone is higher.
It is so
The odds
high
of liking someone are lower. I think more women view men as commodities,
that they
and
do.
so many men allow them to be just another option, that the power has fully shifted to women sexually and emotionally. That's great for fuckboys, but not those of us that would like a best friend we can also sleep with. I threw the towel in a year ago. I know there are good ones out there, but as one gets older, we have less time to turn over rocks with serious auditing and life goals.
I 100% agree with you, manhood. That's exactly where I'm at. It's like, I'm 37 now. How many rocks do I really want to keep kicking over? I'm still willing to do it, but sooner or later I'll get too tired and just move out faster than I was planning. So
The current environment is great for meaningless sex, but behind that, it's hard to navigate. Personally, I think it's gotten so much worse, and the disposable nature of dating apps like Tinder, where you are encouraged to snap judge a person based on their minimal and highly curated profile, only serves to exaggerate the lack of connection required to form a meaningful relationship with someone. Online dating has become much more photo-based and less profile-based, just in the last 10 years. I did online dating as a college student in the 2010s. I remember answering a bunch of compatibility questions like, how long would you like to know someone before having sex? Is religion important to you? Would you date someone with different political beliefs? And then I was matched with people whose questions resembled mine. Now it's all about swiping.
Yep.
It seems more superficial now. Back in the day, there were steps between meeting and becoming an official boyfriend or girlfriend. Steps like first date, second date, third date, first kiss, first time having sex, first time spending the night, meeting friends, and many more. Nowadays, it feels like there are fewer steps between meeting and being in a relationship. I've had so many friends who meet a guy, they begin hanging out or having sex or sleeping over at his place, meet the parents, and then are official, without having gone on a single date. People also use phrases like, we have a thing, and we're talking. Back in the day, people would say,
Oh, I'm guilty of that. I say I'm talking to someone, sometimes it's just been one date. So I wouldn't consider I'm going out with this person yet. I'm just still talking with them. So I get the frustration on both sides.
I'm dating him, or I'm going out with him. In the 90s, it was normal to be dating someone, and you didn't hear from them for a couple of days. There wasn't
This
this
is true.
constant flow of communication.
Yeah, this is right. Wow. When I was in, I graduated in 2005, high school. So after that, yeah, communication was quite different. Like, we weren't talking to each other every day. We didn't see each other every day. Just texting, I feel it just barely came out. So they're still newer. So texting wasn't such a global phenomenon as it is now.
Texting was not a thing, so you couldn't continue to hold a conversation constantly while you went about your life. If you wanted to talk, you called and talked, and then you hung up and went on with life.
Yep.
Today, there's this expectation of always texting back within a fairly short period of time. Good morning texts, good night texts. It's invasive. It's no wonder young people today have more issues with anxiety. They don't
Is it? I guess it kind of makes sense. There's putting so much expectations on these little actions of morning texts and good night texts, and I love you, Texas. I can see why there's anxiety involved with both sex for men and women to receive or to send these texts constantly to validate the other person's feelings.
Don't get to put down their relationships and be a person on their own, like ever. Well, with more dating apps now, people are less wanting to meet in person. More texting, fewer meetings. 2011 was when everything changed due to Instagram. I remember it like it was yesterday. How? It widened the market.
I was still married. I was married throughout all of this from when I was 21 till 34. Like almost 34. So it's a long time. I didn't experience a lot of this. And then I got thrown into it now after my divorce. And I was in a tailspin. I was confused. I was getting worked. I was just like, how the fuck does this shit work nowadays? And it's nothing like it was before. The connections don't get built the same. Even like the meetings. The meetings are like not even about like just having a good time with each other. It's literally interviews. We're just constantly going on interviews nowadays with food involved, you know. And back in the day, I would just go out and just enjoy myself with the person. If I enjoyed, great. If not, whatever. We'll talk about all those other things later. Now, first date. What's your plans? This is what you want. What do you want to do here? It gets a little muffled in how we're going about things.
And a girl now has access to guys from all over the world, and you'll never understand this unless you either have a friend who shows you her Instagram, or you carry out your own experiment. Before this, we had a lot of fun. People met in person.
Yes.
And coffee shops in the early to mid-2000s were a hit, where bars and clubs were for hookups. Sometimes you double-dipped, meaning you went to the coffee shop at 7 p.m. to meet people. If you had no plans, then went out to clubs afterwards. Dating.
Never been a club person. I went once on my 21st birthday. My friends took me to Mexico and we went to like Iggy's. And that was like, I drank 3-4 beers, got wasted, threw up everywhere, had a horrible time. That was it. And I've gone to like a couple clubs recently, mostly for business though. So I don't think those are great places to be meeting people for long-term relationships. So
was nowhere near as bad for average dudes in the late 90s to mid-2000s. Plenty of guys met someone, and if they wanted to settle down, then that's what happened.
Yep.
Again, the illusion of choice didn't exist, so people were very cognizant that, hey, if this person is good enough, I'm going the distance. I truly feel sorry for you young guys nowadays.
She's right. He's right. That illusion of there's so many choices really ruined it for everyone, men and women. Women are like, well, he does have most of what I want, but I should be able to get everything I want. You know, back in the day when they hit most of what you want, you're like, well, fuck, I'm going to have to try to work hard to keep this guy or, you know, keep this woman because there ain't that very many people out there that are going to be meeting these criteria of mine.
Days. I see and hear everything that's going on, and if I was in my 20s, no way I would stay in the West.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. Not a chance. Anyway, that's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like.
I agree with you, manhood. Same. If I was in my 20s, I would be gone long ago. But I'm in 37 now. I still have some issues to handle here. I'm still building up my passive income, and then I'll leave. But I am at that age where I'm at my prime. I look the best I've ever looked in my life. I'm like physically better than I've ever looked in my life. And financially, I've been better than ever in my life. So I get to, I guess, enjoy the fruits of those labors a little bit here. And I'm exercising those rights, you know. But I do know ultimately I'll most likely be traveling to another country, especially Cambodia, and probably picking up a wife there. Or my family is vetting out women right now, and hopefully they find a good woman, then I'll live with her here. That's fine too. It's a little bit different than how our family works it. I would never suggest to most men to bring their wives here only when you have a family that helps vet and do all these things, that's where it becomes less of a risk, but doesn't mean it's not a risk still. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.